Hey everyone, Scott with Real Sync. Welcome back to Real Tech Talk. I'm super excited to have Randall Standard from VoicePad, the founder of VoicePad, on today with us. And Randall, has an amazing story. He's been at it for a long, long time, and I really appreciate you being on and to give people an understanding of your not only your product, but like what it can do for the business owner to make his agents more productive, streamline his business, save him time, pain, all the things that business owners are trying to constantly do, especially with technology. As they're adding technology into their tech stack, it's like, okay, when I add a piece of technology that's supposed to generate a lead or help me with something, is it going to also complicate my business more? So I'm looking forward to talking to you more about how this is not only making the teams more productive and efficient and generating more ROI for them, making it more profitable, but also how it's going to, simplify what they're doing within their business. So thanks so much for being on with us.
Well, thank you. It's very nice to be with you today, Scott. I was assigned a real estate agent on my first AT&T transfer, and she couldn't make our first appointment. So when I walked in the office, she had something going on in the other room, and she gave me the MLS book, and she says, if you ever tell anyone I gave this to you, I have to hunt you down and kill you, because that was the way information. It was one of these books that were about 5 inches thick. They had all of the listings sequenced by street number, numerically, or street name, alphanumerically. But that day, this was back in the early 80s, I guess. That day, I felt like I was the most empowered home buyer of all time. So it was really impactful. So that was really the genesis of VoicePad. I've always believed that there was enormous amounts of opportunity in the one place that a real estate agent can market that nobody else can. And it's the premises, it's their listing. And that's really what our specialty is. It's call to action, either to get appointments to see a house or to get information on a house. And we built the original application before there were mobile browsers. So the solution that we built is very interesting. It's audio based. It's still the best call capture system in the industry. It was the day it came out. But what we figured out how to do, since nobody had a browser way back then, is we sequenced pieces of audio together from early MLS feeds and converted them to speech. So what we know about curbside marketing is that nobody really likes to record presentations or set things up by themselves. We were the first really to automate it and allow people to get information on any available property without a mobile browser on their phone. So that was our humble beginnings. We've built several products kind of related, premises-based marketing, our open house everyday product, which I think is a fascinating new product. And then what we have is we've been doing a lot of, and it's a new part of our business. And it's unfortunately, it's the perfect product for a time when nobody's in the office. I'm sitting here in an office. I'm the only one here. It's kind of eerie, you know, but this is happening everywhere. And until we get vaccinations, up to the level, I think we're looking at a lot of people staying away from offices. So what we do, or we're doing mainly now, is our on-demand reception product. Basically, we take all of the agent directories, we put it on a phone platform. People just call in, speak the name of their agent, it gets routed to them. And what we're doing for a lot of team leaders and brokers is we're saving the cost of that reception responsibility. And if you really know that job, oh, it's an awful job. 40% of the calls that are incoming are junk calls. So what we do is we take the friction out of that process. And it's one of those solutions where you can just forward your main calls and leave the office. You don't have to, send your receptionist home with cell phones or try to work this at home, there is really an easy way to do it, and it's completely automated with listing data. That's really our growth right now. It's unfortunate that we're in this situation as a country, as a world, but at least it sparks ideas and imaginations and new ways to do things.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a great partnership. And RealSync works with you to connect you to our client CRMs, which is helpful for them as well, right? So they're getting the data all in one place, which is always what we're kind of preaching, is you don't want to have your agents in too many applications because they're not productive. But I guess talk a little bit about how, from generating the lead curbside, and then, getting it to the agent, and the process of what VoicePad does to help streamline that and make it efficient.
Okay, well, we have a variety of products.
Yeah.
The oldest one, the one that's still the biggest piece of our revenue, is curbside lead generation. It's that premises-based marketing. It's the call to action, and we've all seen yard signs. They're dressed up like Christmas trees with multiple points of entry. There's really two things that we ask for at the curb. You've probably seen our signs somewhere. We're in all 50 states. They have the rider signs, usually say info 24/7. And then there will be a female voice once you enter in a code or a street number that will give you the description of the property. That's what we're doing. And we take the features in the MLS, we assemble all of the voice files on the fly in either English or Spanish, and we'll be presenting information to clients. But at the same time, we're calling the listing agent, or we're simultaneously ringing the listing agents or brokerages, groups of people who are on call duty. Now, all of this is
happening. That's in real time, so that you can transfer the call if possible. Ideally,
the call's already being transferred. The agent will answer it. They'll accept the call, and we do require an active acceptance, so the calls don't end up going to somebody's voicemail.
Right.
And then we'll say you have an inquiry on 2132 Mockingbird Lane. Press 1 and I'll do the introductions, and then we sync the two calls together. Our automated receptionist, we call her Eve because she was the first, but she will actually do the integration. Hello,
that's good. You know what? Hey, it's good.
Inspiration comes in strange ways. But,
yeah, right.
So she does the marriage, and if somebody were to hang up on that call, rather than dropping and redialing, you could just press 1, press any key, and she'll automatically redial and connect you again. Our goal, though, is to have the call received as early as possible. And I've never have thought of telecom as being a sequential event. I think there are multiple things that can be happening at the same time. The other thing from a call capture standpoint is now phone numbers are text enabled. So you can also text to these numbers. And the beauty of the leads that come off premises-based advertising is they're generally of higher quality because people are in front of the house wanting to get information. It may be the quickest way for them to get to the listing agent. And I think in the next 5 years of this industry, getting in touch directly with the listing agent is going to be a much bigger trend, especially as some of the new guidelines from NAR just come out about disclosure and who's really paying the commissions. And I think that premises-based advertising is going to emerge again as a real powerful part of a marketing program.
Well, I think you hit something on the head there. From a buyer standpoint, if you really want to get the property that you're looking at, you try to work with the listing agent, because they're going to want to represent you if they can in the state. They want to represent both sides of the deal, right? They make more money.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
That's what we did to get the house that we're in. As I was like, man, I'm just going to hire this person. They're going to help me get the house,
So let's just say you're sitting out in front of the house and you actually called the listing agent. What happens then? Okay.
Yeah.
The listing agent sees a phone number that they don't recognize. And you know what they tell themselves in their head? If it's important, they'll leave a message.
Mm,
And that's the thing that we do, is we actually seize the caller ID and let the listing agent know that this is a call worth taking, because there are 10 that aren't worth taking today.
right.
So that's the other half of the magic, is we
I
can
love that.
actually make that happen.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So tell me a little bit more about how the texting works, because, this day and age, we got a lot of people that prefer to use the text route rather than making phone calls, and want to get information, kind of without pressure, right? When you get on the phone with somebody, it's a little bit more of a commitment than if you just shoot a text to get some data on a property, let's say.
Yeah, this is the really interesting point, and I'm gonna couch this with in particular our open house everyday product.
Okay.
It's a rather new product, and the cool thing about is that you can just text open to the phone number, and the key there is it's at that moment. It has to be easier to set an appointment with the listing agent at that moment. Then otherwise they're just going to click Zillow, and you're going to end up splitting the commission. So that's the key. You have to make access to setting an appointment easier than going to Zillow. And that's the open house every day. The beautiful thing about that product, and we all know open house events are great, but we really can't do them anymore. So we kind of turned that concept on its head and said, well, why don't you just do one every day, and just be available. And when those calls come in, we're going to know basically what property they're in front of. We'll ring all of your team members at once. Nobody has to sit an open house, and it's a safer way to get people in the house one at a time, rather than the general stampede that we used to have with open house events.
Right. And what you're probably seeing too is people that are scheduling appointments, they're much more serious, buyers, right? We're not getting the look you lose because they can't really get in the house to see it anymore, right?
That's right. And you have to be somewhat careful with your messaging, because if you're doing an open house every day, it's not unusual to have people to come up and knock on the door. So, there are ways to work the messaging, but yes, it's very effective. And right now, buyers know they need to get in touch directly with the listing agent to have a competitive bid. And that's one of the strategies that a lot of buyers are wising up to as well. I can find any house in the world, but this is the one I want. I'd rather talk to the person that knows the most about that particular property. And that's the business that we've always been in. We're helping the listing agent side of the equation most of all. We're trying to give them the enhancement, because whatever you have as a technology, if it cannot be articulated in a listing presentation, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It has to be something easily mentioned in a listing presentation to help differentiate that agent. And I think we've got several products that fit the bill on that, because people believe, and they're right, that the buyer who's going to buy their house is going to be in front of their house at some point in time. And although I just sold a condo, and a month and a half ago, I still haven't met the new homeowners yet. Now that's the new world that we're in, is a lot of people are just buying sight unseen.
Yeah.
But ultimately, everybody goes back to driving neighborhoods. It's an American pastime. We have clients that get 3,500 curbside leads a month. It actually works, and outside of the cost to provide our service, it doesn't cost anything to advertise in your yard.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because I went through the buying process this past summer, and you do, when you find a property online, you still want to go drive the neighborhood and see the property and get a look at it. You just do, as the buyer, right? Yeah,
it's a tangible thing, and that's what makes it a better lead. People have
and you want to see the area that the property's in. You want to see the community, right? You want to drive around it a little bit, especially if you're not too familiar with it, if it's a newer area, right? So
yeah. And this, especially with new house construction, you end up having a lot of sales representatives from home builders, and they used to hang out in the open houses, right? They were there all day long. They were out smoking in the back. You know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
But there's more efficient ways to do this. And the open house everyday product that I mentioned is just so incredible with new construction and how it sets the appointments. And you can see people setting 2 and 3 appointments just as they're going through the subdivision. And you're right, on that particular component, we get many more texts than we do phone calls. It's easier to do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's step back for a minute. I'm a team leader watching this video. I'm not working with VoicePad yet. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I've trained my agents. God forbid, I've made them adopt my CRM. How does the data, let's say, the phone call's coming in, obviously it's round robin to whoever's on call to get the call, right? But assuming that maybe the call doesn't get answered, it gets dropped, you can't get a hold of the person. How does the data then transfer and make its way to my CRM so that my agents are more efficient and productive when they are doing that follow-up to get a hold of that person to take those next steps, right?
When I have many team leaders as clients, the one thing that high producing teams have in common is that they pick and choose their technologies. Okay.
Right.
And where Real Sync comes together is that it provides that mechanism for you to pick a best of breed, as opposed to, making your decision to go all in on one platform, which has its benefits, big benefits as well, but you're effectively trying to accomplish the same thing. So that's really where Real Sync comes in. When we're sending information, we're not like a regular internet lead. We actually get phone numbers, we get names, we get their locations. We record interactions with agents and buyers by phone. All of these things are easily transferred out. They're important things. And the other part is, I believe that you can even get the audio presentation of the property in multiple languages. Now, that's an interesting thing to have at your availability, because if you were to put the audio on a YouTube video, it will index better. And the reason it will is because YouTube is listening to the audio. They're having to do the transcription. Our voice actually transcribes almost perfectly on the Google platform, and that's what helps your videos just place better on a Google search. There's a lot of information in audio. It's a whole lot better, than elevator music.
Right. That's amazing. I love it. Yeah. So, the lead comes in, of course, you get all that information that you just mentioned into the VoicePad system. Obviously if you're working within certain CRMs that we integrate with, you get that data then into the CRM, which is nice. So, currently we have VoicePad connected to Sierra, Boomtown, Real Geeks, Firepoint, and Follow Up Boss. So if you're using any of those systems, not only are you getting the data in the VoicePad, which is fantastic, but then it's coming over into your CRM too, where your agents are living a little bit more often, right? So, yeah.
Well, even better than that, the newest product, our on-demand and reception product, which handles an enormous amount of call volume into an office. Whenever somebody calls in and they indicate, I need to sell my home. Well, we might have 5 people on floor duty. Those 5 people all get calls with the same caller ID. They know it's a buyer. The first person to accept the call, we do the interaction like I told you, but more importantly, we're keeping track of who's actually taking the calls. And on these simultaneous ring scenarios, if 5 people are getting calls, but only 1 gets the lead, at least the other people know that opportunities are being created.
Right.
And it's a pretty fair and even way to basically do this process and not to have to pay an admin thousands of dollars a month to do it manually. There are trust issues with the old-fashioned process, and what we've found is that people are just more trusting, strangely, of an algorithm a lot of times, especially when it comes to sales leads.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, like, obviously you've been at this a very long time, and
thank you. I think
wisdom is what I'm talking about. Wisdom. You've spoken to God knows how many real estate agents, teams, entrepreneurs, business owners. Tell me a little bit about the feedback that you've heard from them when they've been able to implement your product correctly and what it's done for their business. Because I think that's a really good way for us to, understand the impact that VoicePad can have if you add this to some of the systems that you're using within your business.
Well, I mean, it can be incorporated into a lot of different components. I've been doing this a long time. So when we came out with our first iteration product, and I want to say this was 2004, I mean, it was special. It was different. And within 4 years, we were heading into, a housing depression,
Right.
And this was that interesting historical moment where a lot of people started looking at new technology. And it's this interesting trend about real estate technology vendors and the real estate market is oftentimes the worse the market gets, the better the vendors get, because everybody's needing to be smart and extract more opportunities. This is the most interesting time right now where houses are basically selling themselves.
Yeah.
I do believe that this is a short period of time for a variety of reasons. But if you're looking to save money and automate your team or your real estate business, if you really want to use technology that's proven and out there, where's the most important place to put it? Well, look where you're spending money right now. And if you're paying someone to answer the phones, maybe they should be deployed doing something of more value. We have an enormous expertise in understanding real estate businesses, simultaneous ring, the call recording technologies. We kind of know what the real estate industry needs. We have a variety of different setups, but if I was to do one thing, that's what I would do, is I'd make my business more efficient. And that's where our on-demand reception product is so strong right now. And for the first time, and you can ask a broker this and they'll never know the answer, how many calls do you get a day? This is a very insightful thing when people begin to realize how many of the calls are going to salespeople, how many of those are going to voicemail, how many agents have had an opportunity. You can schedule your agents from 2 to 5 on Thursdays, and they're gonna be on the simultaneous ring. It's kind of like a remote floor duty. All of the things that you used to do on a local basis, you really don't have to do that anymore. And that's where I think the business is going.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing insight to have, right? To know, also to have someone filtering those calls, right? Because so many of them are potential junk. And then you're bringing in the quality phone calls, the quality leads, right? And that's what a team leader wants.
Yeah, we listen to your junk phone calls so you don't have to.
Exactly. That's the tagline. I love it. That's what I'm going to title this webinar.
Well, someone's got to listen to it. But Eve, she works cheap. She's automated. She's bilingual, and she's very patient.
Yeah, and she's willing. She's willing. I love it. I love it. So you mentioned the new product. Talk a little bit more about that, and then just so you guys listening are watching right now, what if they want to get in touch, let's just talk about that real quick. If they want to get in touch with you, if VoicePad is something that they're interested in adding to their to their business, what's the best way? And then let's talk about the new product, because I know that's something that you guys were working on for a while and you just released recently, right?
Yeah. This is the on-demand reception product. And let's say that all of a sudden you make the decision as a business owner that no one's really coming into the office anymore. We're going to have a few bad months. We have a solution where you just forward the calls to another local phone number. And basically we know all of the agent names so that someone could speak the agent or employee's name. We'll just route the calls to them. It's all very seamless. It saves a lot of money. And what I'm seeing happening now is that we're having a lot of teams and brokers using this, and they're using it because of the pandemic. But I think it's working out so well, they probably will never go back.
Right.
There are all kinds of people in the business. Some people brokers want to be the last broker in the country answering the phones. I just don't believe they'll be the last broker if they're still answering phones. And this is one of those cost-effective ways to do something really special for your business. On our website, voicepad.com, you can look under our solutions section, and the on-demand reception has some of our most recent brokerages that have signed up and are using this. They feel like they were very fortunate to have gotten in front of this from a pandemic standpoint. But, never let a good pandemic go to waste. All right.
Yeah.
And if you have to,
there's always opportunity.
You have to make hard decisions. This might be the best opportunity since no one's going to be in the office anyway. Right. So that's where we've been most busy is doing that one simple high call volume task of telling people how many people are calling to buy their home, sell their home, how many people are talking to agents, what time of the day are they. It just makes you more intelligent, and it's going to help you make better decisions in your business.
Absolutely, because your live receptionist is not making quality notes. That she's not doing that job, right? She's
he or she, and they don't even like that. They don't even want to do it. I mean, truthfully, it's a job.
Right. Randall, I really appreciate your time. And again, if you are interested in VoicePad, go to voicepad.com. I'm sure there's a way that you can jump on a call with you guys or request more information, of course.
Yeah. And if you want,
we'll put a link in the
sales at voicepad.com as well, Scott.
Got it. And Randall, thanks for what you're doing for agents and teams and brokers, because you're making their businesses more efficient and productive and allowing them to be more profitable in the end. And with that, grows the market and grows the economy. So it's a win-win all around.
Well, we've got a team that's been together now, I think on average for about 14 years. We love what we do. And we hope to be, continuing to solve problems for the real estate team and brokerage and agent community.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Randall from VoicePad. I'm Scott Slary with RealSync, and thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.